Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Web3 News with a focus on the Ethereum ecosystem. I've been in the Ethereum community for a little more than 7 years and I know how hard it is to get high quality information without all the junk. So this video is designed to help save you some time while not missing a beat. First off, we want to thank Week in Ethereum News for putting the newsletter together. They've been a great contributor to the Ethereum community for a long time and they aggregate all of the news weekly, so you can just get it instantly. We'll make sure we throw this in the description so you can review it, but we'll go through everything quickly just so you can get the rundown. So first we got the Layer 1 news. This is the core Ethereum blockchain Layer 1. And first we'll take a look at Ultrasound Money. This is made by Justin Drake, which shows us the supply of ETH and whether it's growing or shrinking. As you guys know, the US dollar is constantly getting printed, Bitcoin is constantly inflating, and will eventually cap out at 21 million. But Ethereum actually has a negative supply. So as you can see, the supply went down this week, negative 7,400 ETH. This is what we like to call ultrasound money, and you can learn more at ultrasound.money. And Monteseros, a venture and trading firm, released an article on everything you need to know about order flow auctions. So this goes a little bit into MEV, maximum extractable value. And I would suggest if you do go on this website, have kind of a fast computer. It looks like they're using a lot of heavy computation. So I'm running on a MacBook Air and it didn't work very well. So kind of weird, but if you're interested in cutting edge MEV, take a look here. Okay, now we'll move on to Layer 2 news. First, we're going to look at Defi Llama, and we're going to look at the top chains in the Layer 2 ecosystem. Number one, we obviously have Arbitrum. Currently, TVL is about 2.1 billion still. Followed behind that, we have Optimism at about 800 million TVL, followed by Base at 300 million, ZK Sync at 150, and down it goes. Arbitrum and Optimism are the clear leaders. Base is obviously Coinbase's Layer 2, which is built on Optimism. The Layer 2 ecosystem continues to expand, and we have some very cool news from Optimism. Again, one of the Layer 2s. And they are preparing the ecosystem for multiple chains. So this blog post shares details about the code changes that are going to actually make the super chain real. So a lot of work is underway to make it possible to actually upgrade all the OP chains in unison so that, again, all these chains can run compatible software at the same time. And the vision is having one large chain, the super chain, which is a whole bunch of Optimism chains, which all, of course, report to Ethereum Layer 1. And we look forward to seeing the code come out and the super chain becoming real. And next we have Blast. Blast launched this week. It's another Layer 2 that says it'll help you earn more yield. So they're calling themselves the only Layer 2 with native yield for ETH and stablecoins. There was quite a lot of drama surrounding this. So it looks like the on-chain sleuthing found that they're kind of just calling it a 305 multisig. A lot of people are upset that that Blast is depositing the funds directly into Lido, putting the beacon chain at risk. I would recommend checking out Jared Watt's tweet thread where he goes into everything and you can learn a bit more. But Blast is here and it's something that everyone's excited about, although it might not be that exciting from a technology perspective. Okay, next we're going to quickly go over the security news. Kyber has been attacked. This is one of the decentralized exchanges that has been around quite a long time. They've been around probably 5, 6, 7 years at this point, but their new KyberSwap Elastic smart contract was exploited and they lost around $54.7 million of user funds. This also happened on Scroll, the Layer 2, so not good for Kyber. A lot of people are upset. The hacker actually posted that he was going to sleep and negotiations would start the next day. So it's been about a day and maybe negotiations have started, but pretty crazy to hack someone for $60 million and then go to sleep. Takes a special kind of person to do that. Okay, finally, we have Rekt, who's been covering hacks and security issues for a long time. They covered that Justin Sun, his exchange has been hacked for $99 million. So again, today, $99 million went missing from 2 of Justin Sun's projects. They were hacked. And one of them was the Huobi Chain bridge, and the other one was some hot wallets. So not good. Stay safe out there. If you do happen to have one of your wallets, quote, hacked, there's a new interesting thing coming out called Hacked Wallet Recovery Tool. And it says if your wallets are compromised, you still may have a chance to recover them. And Hacked Wallet Recovery is a cutting edge and free software service that specializes in recovering funds from wallets that have fallen into the hands of hackers. So you're going to want to take a real good look at this. They do have some potential open source code. I haven't dug in. I am not endorsing this, but it is good to know that if your keys get stolen, there might be a swift way for you to empty your wallet. Okay, let's move on to ecosystem news. And we're going to start with ETH Global. ETH Global just finished up the Istanbul hackathon. A lot of great stuff going on there. And we have 10 of the winners or the finalists. And so these are all new projects who are obviously building on Ethereum, and they all have different pros or cons. And if you do check out this thread, it kind of goes into each project and what they're building, why it's maybe exciting. But it's always good to know that entrepreneurs are continuing to build, do more experiments, and the ecosystem grows. And finally, ETH Global is having their upcoming calendar is obviously public. We see a lot of stuff happening in India in December. We have Denver coming up in February, as well as ETH Denver. We have Sydney, we have London. Always the Ethereum community is very active all around the world. So you can always check the ETH Global events page to see what is up and coming. And if there's a hackathon or a summit near you, make sure you can attend. Okay, and moving on, Circle, the creator of USDC, announced the bridged USDC standard. Obviously, permissionless composability is one of the hallmarks of Web3, they say, and that USDC has been on 15 blockchains now, as of right now, which is 7 more than last year. They quickly cover the difference between native USDC and bridged USDC and the pros and cons, but the big announcement here is that they are making a new standard. That's the bridged USDC standard to bring more permissionless and equitable safety to users. It is standardized and it's extensible and it is secure and it's audited. So USDC is the largest stablecoin outside of USDT, and Circle is paving the way with standardization. Okay. Also, Nick from ENS, the Ethereum name service, he wrote a quick post about how a lot of people are wanting to have their .eth added to the DNS root. That means if you're going to go to nick.eth, like a website, that's not going to work because it doesn't have a DNS root. And so people are wondering why that is. And there's something called ICANN, and that's the body that oversees top-level domains, sort of one of the big internet gatekeepers, so to speak. And it's worth reading this thread on why this is not possible, why ICANN does not allow it. And he says, in short, it's complicated, no matter the route, but the status quo is pretty secure for .eth and ENS. So we'll continue to pursue options and we'll see if it's workable. So the current tech is secure, but it is not rooted to DNS, and that's just the way it is. Okay, finally, Binius was announced. This is a new hardware optimized snark. So it's a new research paper that goes over the performance optimizations of snarks. And this is way, way, way too deep, but just it's good to know that they are continuing to optimize and research in the snark and stark space. Also a new paper from someone at Microsoft and another person named Justin. They released Baby Spartan, which is a lasso-based Stark for non-uniform computation. Again, this is a little too deep, but we just want to share it here so you know that they're continuing to innovate on the cryptography side, and people who are real nerdy can dig in there. Okay, finally, regulation in corporate news. Binance, the CEO, pled guilty to federal charges in $4 billion resolution case. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this. Everyone knows. It's good to know that the Department of Treasury and Binance are cleaning things up. And finally, Kraken. Kraken is going to continue to fight for its mission of crypto innovation in the US. They have received a complaint from the SEC that they are operating as an unregistered securities exchange, broker, and clearinghouse. This is a new case that is very similar to the case that Coinbase received. So the SEC is going after Coinbase and now Kraken. The rumor is that the SEC is losing the case against Coinbase pretty handily, And with Kraken, they're hoping to have a different state, a different judge to hopefully try their hand at another victory. Obviously, most people want the SEC to lose. And for people outside the US, this stuff does not matter. Okay, Tether and the Department of Justice announced that $225 million in Tether was frozen, and it was related to a criminal syndicate. This was done through Chain Analysis, which is a blockchain analysis firm. They got the information, and it is now the biggest freeze ever of USDT in history. So the Department of Justice is very much working with companies across the world to make sure that they are enforcing illegal activities. Now we have Bullish. Bullish acquires CoinDesk from DCG. Bullish was actually created a few years ago from the team that did the EOS ICO. So if you were around before 2019, you remember EOS had a large ICO, raised a lot of money. No one really uses or cares about EOS anymore, but they did spend a lot of those hundreds of millions of dollars on building something called Bullish, which is an exchange that also no one really uses. But with all that money, they now bought CoinDesk. So they say that they completed the strategic acquisition to accelerate CoinDesk's global expansion. And then the CEO of Bullish was quoted saying, "With its acclaimed editorial coverage, premier events, and market-leading data, CoinDesk continues to shape the global crypto and blockchain ecosystem." So CoinDesk has now been acquired, and this will hopefully help DCG give money back to the creditors what they lost money on via Genesis during the FTX fiasco. Okay, that is all the news for the week. Please check out Web3 stories and news, and we will see you guys in the future.